الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين ولا عدوان إلا على الظالمين وبعد. After giving thanks and praises to Allah the Almighty, sending peace and salutation to the seal of the messengers Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his family members, his companions, and whoever followed their footsteps to the day of judgment and to proceed. Inshallah, today we'll continue our class on the Tafsir of Surah Al-Qalam. So far, we're working on verse 10 going down. We work on the verses where He, the Most High, is commending the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in particular and the Muslims in general to stay away from some people who have these traits or these evil qualities that we are about to mention in brief. He, the Most High, said, فَلَا تُطِعِ الْمُكَذِّبِينَ, do not follow the mukaddibin. And the word mukaddib is from the derivative of the word kadaba. What is kadaba? Lie, right? So if somebody lies, we say kadaba. Okay, what about kadaba? What's the difference between kadaba and kadaba?
Constant liar.
MashaAllah, you guys are doing good with the Arabic. But kadaba is intransitive verb, right? So when you say he lied, the sentence is what? It's complete. We have what? A subject and a verb. But kadaba is a transitive verb, which means it requires a object, right? So kadaba, like a lot of always say, kadaba qawmu Nuhin al-mursaleen. The people of Noah, kadaba al-mursal, they have rejected the mursaleen. So kadaba, when you say kadaba, is to belie, meaning to say that somebody is a liar. So when you say someone is a liar, what comes next? You reject what he says. So when we use the word kadaba, meaning he rejects the truth. Okay? So like Almighty say, we should not follow the mukaddibin, those who reject the truth. Sometimes you can reject a falsehood, and sometimes you reject the truth. If someone rejects the truth, we call them al-jahil, which is denial. What's the difference between a rejecter and a denier?
Rejected is you just not trying to hear what they're saying, or you're not even taking it in. Denial is you know it's the truth, but you're just not admitting it.
You know it's the truth, but you're just not admitting that it is what? The truth. That's what Allah Almighty said about people of Fir'aun. He said, وَجَحَدُوا بِهَا. They have denied the truth, the signs that Moses brought to them. وَاسْتَيْقَنَتْهَا أَنفُسُهُمْ ظُلْمًا وَعُلُوًّا. Even though their heart is telling them that this is the truth. So the word jahud, which is denial, is defined as أن تقر أو أن تثبت أو أن تقر بلسانك ما تنكره قلبك أو تنكر بلسانك ما تثبته قلبك أو الإقرار باللسان ما تنكره القلب أو الإقرار باللسان ما تنكره القلب. And that is to affirm with your tongue that which your heart is denying, right? Rejecting. Or to reject with your tongue that which your heart is affirming, right? So this is what the word denial is. So Allah Almighty is telling us that we should not follow people who are like that. وَدُّوا لَوْ تُدْهِنُوا فَيُدْهِنُونَ. They wish that you, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, will compromise with them in your deen, so that they will also compromise with you. And again, this is also a prohibition from compromising with our religion. Do not compromise with your religion. The word compromise means to treat someone with leniency, trying to win their heart. If you are doing this in order to win someone's heart without giving up your religion, there is nothing wrong with that. But if it is going to affect your deen, then you are forbidden from doing this. He, the Most High, then said, وَلَا تُطِعْ كُلَّ هَلَّافٍ مَهِينٍ. The second is someone who swears a lot. And we mentioned before that the one who swears a lot, most of the time they are liars. because the one who tells the truth doesn't need to swear. And we have expounded on the ruling of swearing. When does it become mandatory? When does it become recommended? And when does it become haram? And when does it become disliked? We have expounded that in our last class. So do not follow someone who swears a lot. Mahin, the word mahin is from the word ihana, meaning someone who is scorned, degraded, someone who is a low self-esteem person. Do not follow that individual. Hamadin Masha'in Binamin. Right? Allah Almighty said, do not follow someone who is a slanderer and also a backbiter. And we have mentioned the difference between slandering and backbiting. When you slander somebody, you speak ill of him in his absence about something that is not true. Meaning you have fabricated a lie about somebody in his absence in order to ruin his reputation. But when you backbite somebody, you speak ill of him about something that is true in him. Again, with the intention of ruining his reputation, and both are forbidden. Right? Allah the Almighty has forbidden us from doing that. وَلَا تُطِعْ كُلَّ حَلَّافٍ مَهِينٍ هَمَّازٍ مَشَّاءٍ بِنَمِيمٍ. And namim is a gossiper. And gossiping is a tale carrier. You know, he goes to this individual and he will say something negative about you, and he will come back to you and say something what? Negative about, and then he will say, oh, this is what Fulan said about you. The Prophet ﷺ said, لَا يَدْخُلُ الْجَنَّةِ نَمَّامٍ. The gossiper will not enter Jannah. The reason being is because they create enmity between loved ones and they separate between them. Then he, the Most High, continue to say, مَنَّاعٍ لِلْخَيْرِ مُعْتَدٍ أَثِيمٍ عُتُلٍّ بَعْدَ ذَلِكَ زَنِيمٍ. So the word utul, our scholars mention, as Imaam al-Qurtubi said, Hasan al-Basri said, the word al-utul, it means al-fahish as-sayyi al-khuluq, meaning someone who is licentious with bad character. Mu'ammar also said the word al-utul means al-fahish al-la'im, someone who is licentious with blameworthy character. Our noble scholar Imam al-Qurtubi said that the Prophet ﷺ said in the hadith that is narrated by Shaddad ibn Aus, لَا يَدْخُلُ الْجَنَّةَ جَوَّابٌ وَلَا جَعْظَرِيٌّ وَلَا عُطُلٍّ زَنِيمٌ. The Prophet said, these individuals will not enter Jannah. The first, Jawab. The second, Ja'bari. And the third, Utullin Zanim. Right? So the companions said, we said to the Prophet ﷺ, Mal Jawab, who is Jawab? And the Prophet said, Al-Jamma'u al-Manna', the one who accumulates wealth and does not give the right of the wealth. Right? Al-Jamma'u al-Manna'. And then we said, Wamal Ja'bari, and who is Ja'bari? And the Prophet said, Al-Fadl Ghalib, the one who is harsh and mean when dealing with the people. And then they say, Wamal Utul, who is Utul? The Prophet said, Al-Aqul al-Sharub al-Ghashum al-Dhalum, someone who eats excessively and drinks excessively, and also he is al-Ghashum, he is an oppressor, al-Dhalum, he wrongs the people. May the Almighty not adorn us with these qualities. Amen. Ibn al-Qayyim said, فَهَذَا التَّفْسِيرُ مِنَ النَّبِيِّ صلى الله عليه وسلم في العطل قد أربى على أقوال المفسرين. Is that this explanation of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam of the word al-utul has sufficed all the explanation of the mufassirin, because all the mufassirin have their explanation. Like we mentioned earlier, Hassan said al-utul is someone who is licentious and with bad character, right? And Mu'ammar said someone who is licentious with blameworthy character. But the Prophet has mentioned the detail of that, which is the one who eats excessively, drinks excessively, and also he oppresses and wrongs the people. Now here the Most High is stating the reason why that individual does what he does. He said, "And kana dha malin wa banin." The reason why he wrongs people and he's being arrogant is because he is blessed with wealth and children. And these two things are the reasons why people are arrogant. When people think that they have money, they started to feel like they are better than others. This is the reason why the Prophet ﷺ said that Allah the Almighty said, He loves those who are humble. But His love for the humble rich man is even more. The reason being is because a rich man has the reason to become arrogant, but he is still humble. And then Allah Almighty said, I hate those who are arrogant, but my hateful towards the arrogant poor man is worse, because you don't have any reason to become arrogant. The reason why Allah Almighty tests other people with poverty is in order to make them humble, right? But you are poor and you are being arrogant. That is not something that is praiseworthy. So people who have money, they turn to become arrogant and they turn to reject the signs of Allah the Almighty. That's why the Messiah mentioned in Surah Al-Alaq saying, "Inna al-insana la yatgha an ra'ahu istaghna." That indeed mankind is transgressing the set limits of Allah the Almighty. The reason being is because he sees himself to become independent. Like, I have what I want. I don't depend on anybody, you know? We see people like this, you know? I get what I want whenever I want. They brag with it, they show off with it. When there are poor people around them suffering, they don't help them. May the Almighty not make us like that. Amen. Here the Messiah gave us a beautiful example of situation like this in Surah Al-Kahf, about those two companions. Our scholars said they are brothers whose parent died and left behind wealth. One of them uses wealth to free slaves and to give charity and keep some to manage with. But the other one, he invested his wealth and became very rich, right? Allah the Almighty blessed him with guardians, two guardians. Allah the Almighty mentioned in Surah Al-Taha saying, وَضْرِبْ لَهُ مَثَلًا رَجُلَيْنِ جَعَلْنَا لِأَحَدِهِمَا جَنَّتَيْنِ مِنْ أَعْنَابٍ وَحَفَفْنَاهُمَا بِنَخْلٍ وَجَعَلْنَا بَيْنَهُمَا زَرْعًا. He said, give them the example of these two men, whom we have given one of them two gardens of grapes. And we fenced those gardens with date palms, and we caused many plants and vegetables to grow in the gardens. Here the Messiah said, كِلْتَ الْجَنَّتَيْنِ آتَتْ أُكُلَهَا كُلَّ حِينٍ. These gardens continue to produce their fruit constantly. وَلَمْ تَظْلِمْ مِنْهُ شَيْئًا. There is no deficiency in its producing of the fruit. وَفَجَّرْنَا خِلَالَهُمَا نَهَرًا. Here the Messiah said, and we cause river to gush forth and run between those gardens. So he has water to water his garden. Like he has everything that Allah Almighty has blessed him with in this dunya. But instead of him being humble, what did he say to his companion? وَقَالَ لِصَاحِبِهِ وَهُوَ يُحَاوِرُ أَنَا أَكْثَرُ مِنْكَ مَالًا وَأَعَزُّ نَفَرًا. He said to his companion, I am wealthier than you, and also I am mightier than you with regard to family. So I have bigger family, I have more money than you. So I'm better than you, right? Allah the Almighty said, وَدَخَلَ جَنَّتَهُ وَهُوَ ظَالِمٌ لِنَفْسِهِ. He entered in his Jannah while wronging himself. Instead of him being humble and praising Allah the Almighty, what did he say? مَا أَظُنُّ أَن تَبِيدَ هَذِهِ أَبَدًا. I don't think this garden will ever perish. It's going to remain forever. It's some people, they are so rich that they don't think they can ever become poor, right? This is the type of arrogance that he has. So he started to say this, مَا أَظُنُّ أَن تَبِيدَ هَذِهِ أَبَدًا. That did not stop there. He moved on to reject the hour. He said, وَمَا أَظُنُّ السَّاعَةَ قَائِمًا. I don't even believe that the hour will be established. And let's say, even if the hour is established, لَأَجِدَنَّ خَيْرًا مِنْهَا مُنْقَلَبًا. Even if there's an hour. Let's say that there's an hour and I come on the day of judgment, I will get better than what I have in this dunya. And he is being sarcastic, he is being, ridiculing the signs of Allah the Almighty. So his companion said to him, as he the Most High said, قال له صاحبه وهو يحاوره أكفرت بالذي خلقك من تراب ثم من نطفة ثم سواك رجلا. Are you disbelieving and rejecting the one who created you from dust, right? ثم من نطفة. Then he created you from a sperm drop. ثم سواك رجلا. And then he puts you together in a perfect human being. Why are you rejecting him and disbelieving in him? And then he said afterwards, لكن هو الله ربي ولا أشرك به أحدا. But as for me, my Lord is Allah, and I will not associate any partners with Allah. Then he continued to advise him. He said, وَلَوْلَا إِذْ دَخَلْتَ جَنَّتَكَ. Why is it that when you enter your Jannah, meaning your garden, why is it that you did not say these words? مَا شَاءَ Allah. This is what Allah the Almighty willed for me. Because when you say this, it makes you humble your soul. You realize that the money that I have, the car that I have, the house that I have is not because of my intelligence. It's not because of my ability. It is because this is what Allah the Almighty will to happen for me, right? To me. So وَلَوْلَا إِذْ دَخَلْتَ جَنَّتَكَ قُلْتَ مَا شَاءَ اللَّهُ لَا قُوَّةَ إِلَّا بِاللَّهِ. It is not in my ability to obtain this. Rather, it is Allah the Almighty who blessed me with this. إِن تَرَنِي أَنَا أَقَلَّ مِنْكَ مَالًا وَوَلَدًا. But then you look down upon me just because I am lesser than you in wealth and in children. So we ask Allah the Almighty to make us among those who are humble. Amen. Bless us with the wealth of this dunya and make us what? Grateful, right? Do you want to be a grateful rich man or a patient poor man?
Grateful rich man.
Yes, so he said it out loud. A grateful rich man, right? And he sounded like a rich man too. Inshallah, the Lord Almighty bless you with the riches of this dunya one day. And the Prophet always asks for afiyah. Some people say, no, I want to be poor. No, do not ask for poverty. Honestly, because the Prophet sought refuge from poverty. And he said, وَاللَّهُمَّ إِنِّي أَعُوذُ بِكَ مِنَ الْكُفْرِ وَالْفَقْرِ. And he connected between kufr and faqr. The scholars said the reason being is because poverty almost makes a person a disbeliever. Because it's not an easy test to be tested. You wake up, no food to eat. And this is how some people survive, like they don't know what to eat. And I've come across people who are telling me that they use ash. They put water in ash, right? And put salt in it. And they use, this is, Gary, right? Gary. It's a kind of, they use it, I think it's similar to couscous, right? But in Africa, they use it, we call it Gary. You add hot water in it, and then you twist it around, and it turns to like a dough. And then you eat it with soup. But they don't have no soup to eat it with. So they use ash, put water in it, and put some salt in it to give it some flavor. They take it and they eat it. This is how some people live. Honestly, it's not a joke. So if Allah the Almighty bless you, you have to be what? Grateful. That's why the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Man asbaha minkum aminan fi sirbi," right? Mu'afa fi jasadi, indahu qutu yawmi, فكأنما حيدت له الدنيا بحذافيرها. Whoever amongst you reached the morning safe in his home, there is no war. You can walk out without being concerned about someone dropping what? Missiles on you, right? You are safe in your home. Mu'afa fi jasadi, you are healthy. You may not be absolutely healthy, but partially healthy, because there's no absolute perfection in this life. But if you're healthy enough to be able to go to work, go to the nation and get around, you are healthy. So you have to be grateful to Allah the Almighty for that. إِنَّهُ قُوتُ يَوْمٍ, and you have your daily bread. Allah the Prophet said, كَأَنَّمَا حِيدَتْ لَهُ الدُّنْيا بِحَذَافِيرِهَا. It is as if the entire dunya is given to you in your hand. So we ask Allah the Almighty to make us grateful for what He has blessed us with. Amen. So He the Most High said, أَكَانَ ذَا مَالٍ وَبَنِينَ. Just because he's blessed with wealth and children, إِذَا تُتْلَى عَلَيْهِ آيَاتُنَا قَالَ أَسَاطِيرُ الْأَوَّلِينَ. whenever our signs or verses are recited to him, what is his response? هذا أساطير الأولين. This is folk tales. This is, the false stories of the ancient people. There's no truth in this. Allah the Almighty said, سَنَسِمُهُ عَلَى الْخُرْطُومِ. The word khurtum is the nose. Allah the Almighty said, we will put a mark on his nose. Our scholars said this is referred to Walid ibn al-Mughira, because in the Battle of Badr, he had a cut on his nose, and that remained as a disgrace for him till the day he died. Based on this, some of the scholars of fiqh say, if somebody committed the crime of false testimony that led someone into prison, or give someone the right that he did not deserve, and then they find out that he has testified falsely, they should put a mark on his face. And the mark will remain there so that when people see him, they will know that he's a liar, and they will stay away from him. This is a penalty for him. We call this at-ta'zir. Alright? At-ta'zir. Because whenever there is not a penalty from the Kitab and Sunnah, but the leader sees that this is the right penalty to give for somebody who commits a certain crime, we call that ta'zir. So we ask Allah the Almighty to grant us understanding of the deen. Amen. Our scholars said the most honorable part of our body is our face, as we have mentioned. Therefore, the most or the severe disgrace one can be disgraced with is to be disgraced in his face. That's what Allah Almighty says in the Surah. And this is the reason why Allah the Almighty mentioned, as the Prophet ﷺ said, that when the people of hellfire ended up in hellfire, even if their entire body is burned, if you are a Muslim, the prostration sign will not be burned. The reason being is because the reason why you have this prostration sign is due to your worship of Allah the Almighty. Because we know there are Muslims who will end up in the hellfire because their evil deed outweigh their good deed. But them being in the hellfire is a means of purification for them to enter Jannah. But they are not going to remain there forever. Because there are steps of purifying our sins. From among them is asking for forgiveness. When you ask for forgiveness, make istighfar, Allah the Almighty will clean your sins. Tawbah, making tawbah, alright? Following your evil deed with good deed. Like the Prophet said, as-salawatul khams, wal-jum'a ila jum'a, wa Ramadan ila Ramadan, mukaffiratin lima baynahuma. The 5 daily prayers, observing the Friday prayer, and Ramadan to Ramadan expiates whatever is between them as long as an individual stays away from major sins. So this is another way of expiating our sins. From one of the ways of having our sins expiated is the calamities that we go through in this dunya. The belly ache, the headache, problems with your family, family problems, divorce, children taken away from you. All these are, all these are calamities that people go through in this life. But it cleans you from your shortcoming until you meet Allah the Almighty with no sin or sickness in general. If that did not clean you, then the punishment of the grave, right? If the grave did not clean you, then the difficulties of the day of judgment before the Surah, the sun burning some people, to the end. If that did not clean you, then the Surah, the difficulties of crossing the Surah, the hook that is pulling some people and they struggle to remain on the sirat, on the thorn, poking them until they make it. And if that did not clean you, then you're going to be tossed into the hellfire. And that is the final cleanser. May the Almighty not take us to that level. Amen. We hope that our istighfar or the calamities that we go through in this dunya will be the means of expiating our sins in this life. Amen. So here the Messiah says, yes.
So also a way like you?
Yeah, it's a expiation. Our little scholar Ibn Qayyim mentioned this in his book, Madarij. Now, because there are some Muslims who were expiated, like it happened with the two Muslims who were being tortured in the grave. And the Prophet ﷺ said, وَمَا يُعَذِّبَانِ لِكَبِيرٍ. They're not being tortured because of something that you consider to be major. Rather, they're being tortured because one of them doesn't protect himself from his urine, and the other walks around with gossiping. And also, the hadith of the Isra wal Mi'raj. And this Isra, our scholars mention, is the Isra that the Prophet experienced in his dream. Because there are two Isra. The Isra, when Mi'raj, which the Prophet was alive, he was awoke. And the second is in his dream, when the two visitors came to him, and they said to him, proceed. And the Prophet said, proceed with you? They said, yes. So the Prophet said, I proceeded with them until we came across a man who was lying down flat on his face. And there was another man who was standing on top of him, and he has with him an iron hook. Then he stick the hook in his mouth, and he pulled it to the back of his neck. And then he stuck in his nostril, pulled it to the back of his neck, and he stuck it in his eye, and he pulled it to the back of his head. And then he moved to the other side of his face, and he started doing the same thing, right? So by the time he finished this side will heal and come back to its normal state, so he'll go back and do the same work, the same thing. So the Prophet said, when I saw this, I said, SubhanAllah, glory be to Allah. What's the matter with these two individuals? And they said to me, proceed, just continue going. And we proceeded until we came across another man who was lying down on his side, and another man who was standing on top of him with a big rock in his hand. And behold, he threw the rock towards the head of the one who is sleeping, and he will smash his head. And then the rock will bounce here and there. And he will trace the rock, and he will grab the rock. By the time he will come back to this man, his head will heal and come back to its normal state, and he will smash his head again. So this is going over. So the Prophet said, I said to my companions, SubhanAllah, glory be to Allah. What's the matter with these two individuals? They said to me, what? Proceed, keep going. So we proceeded again until we came across a river that is red like blood. And behold, we saw somebody swimming in that river. And at the back of the river, there was another man who was sitting down. He compelled a lot of rocks with him. So whenever this one who is swimming in the river, he's struggling to get out. Whenever he stick his head out, trying to get some oxygen, some air, he open his mouth, the other one will throw a rock in his mouth, and he will swallow the rock, and he will drown back again. And this is an ongoing thing. The Prophet said, I said, SubhanAllah, what's the matter with these two individuals? They said to me, what? Proceed. Until we came across an oven, the ancient kind of oven that resembles an igloo, right? And he said, I heard people screaming and crying. And when I looked into it, I saw a group of naked men and naked women. And behold, there was flame coming from beneath them. Whenever the flame come and burn them, they will scream. And they will try to escape, but they have nowhere to escape, but they will pile themselves on top of the igloo. So the Prophet said, I said, SubhanAllah, who are these naked men and women? And they said to me, what? Proceed. But at the end, it's a long hadith. But the point I'm trying to make here is these are people who are undergoing the punishment of the grave, which is the barzakh in reality, right? Is the stage between the two stages. But they are Muslims, because the Prophet mentioned that the one who has his head being smashed is someone who learned the Quran but does not put it into practice, and he sleep on the salat. He doesn't wake up and pray the salat, meaning he's being neglectful of the prayers. And the one who has his mouth being pulled is that is a liar. To the end, the akil of riba, the one who devours riba, and those who commit zina to the end. So all these are Muslims who will go through these means of expiation before they reach the hereafter. Hopefully that will, purify them. That did not purify them because of how severe their sins are, then they will end up in the hellfire to be the final purification. May the Almighty protect us once again, Ameen, and cover us with His mercy, Ameen. So here the Messiah said He will place a mark on His nose. Then He said, "Inna balawnahum kama balawna ashab al-jannah id aqsamu la yasrimunnaha muslimin." So indeed, we will test them like the way we test the people of the garden. And this is referring to Quraysh. And Quraysh, Allah blessed them with wealth. He blessed them with security. There is war all over around Mecca, but in Mecca there is no war. The reason being is because of the Kaaba. It's a sacred land, and in sacred land there is no war. So Quraysh were blessed. That's why the Messiah said, "Ilafi Quraysh, ilafihim rihlat al-shita'i was-sayf, falyabudu rabb hadha al-bayt alladhi at'amahum min ju'in wa amanahum min khawf." So Allah Almighty has blessed them and fed them against hunger, and granted them security from the fear that other people are experiencing. Especially they have the Kaaba there. So when people come for Hajj, they bring gifts. So Quraysh, they are blessed. But instead of them being grateful to Allah the Almighty, they were ungrateful. They rejected the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So Allah the Almighty, adhaqahum libas al-ju'. He has let them taste the garment of hunger, wal khawf, and fear, because of what they used to do, which is rejecting the truth. So here the Most High has mentioned to them that He has what? Tested them just as He tested the people of the garden. And the people of the garden, the Quraysh, are aware of the people of the garden, and these are it's a family who live in Yemen. And Yemen share border with Saudi Arabia. So they are familiar with one another. As a matter of fact, the Arabs of Mecca are originally from Yemen. Because if you read the history, when Ibrahim left Hajar in Mecca, right? She was looking for water, pacing between Safa and Marwa to climb and see if there is somebody. By the time she come, Alhamdulillah, at the seventh time, Allah the Almighty caused water to gush forth from beneath the hill of, under the hill of Ismail, right? While he was crying and his heel was hitting the ground, Allah the Almighty caused water to gush forth. So when she saw the water, she was like Zamzam, Zamzam. This is what we call it, what? Ma'u Zamzam, meaning gather. And then she built she just built something around it, mud around it to cover to block the water from flowing. So along the way, birds start to come there because there is water there. So the travelers who come from Yemen, on their way, they're looking for water. So when they saw birds, they said, there is water here. And then they came to her. And she said, this water is my water. If you want to drink from it, you have to give me from your food. So this is a barter trade. She traded with them. So they will give her food, and they will drink from the water. So along the way, they just settled there. And Ismail married from them. So the Arab of Mecca, originally, they are from Yemen. They are from Yemen. So this family, they are rich family from Yemen. Their father used to have huge garden. And whenever the father harvests the garden, he would invite the poor people of the city, and he would give them their portion. But when their father passed away, they decided not to give the poor people their right. So Allah Almighty is narrating to us their story. He said He will test the people of Quraysh just as He tested the people of the garden. What is their story? If aqsamu la yasrimunnaha muslimin. When they took an oath among themselves, they said, we swear that we will go early in the morning to harvest our fruits before these poor people come over. Wala istathnun. And istithnoon meaning istithna. And istithna means to say inshallah. So they did not say inshallah in what they are saying, even though what they are about to do is not a good thing because they don't have a good intention. So due to that, Allah the Almighty said, فَطَافَ عَلَيْهَا طَائِفٌ مِّن رَبِّكَ وَهُمْ نَائِمُونَ. So as a result, Allah the Almighty sent someone to come and take everything that they have in the garden. Our scholars of Tafsir said this is Jibril alayhi salatu wassalam. He came and he plucked and he uprooted all the things, the trees and the gardens that they have in the garden. He uprooted everything and took it away. Others said Allah the Almighty said, this is the ijtihad of the scholars, right? Others said Allah the Almighty has sent wind, storm that has fire and it burned everything that they had. وَهُمْ نَائِمُونَ while they were sleeping. فَأَصْبَحَتْ كَالصَّرِيمِ. So as a result, the place which is their garden has become very bare, like there is nothing there. Like you see, you look here, you don't see anything, no tree, no plant, nothing. فَتَنَادَوْا مُصْبِحِينَ. So they woke up early in the morning, calling one another. فَانْطَلَقُوا وَهُمْ يَتَخَافَتُونَ. And they proceeded to their garden. They are talking in a very low tone because they don't want everybody to hear what they are doing. فَلَمَّا رَأَوْهَا. When they saw their garden, what do they say? قَالُوا إِنَّا لَضَالُّونَ. They said, indeed, we are astray. This is not our garden, because they did not recognize what they have seen. They were expected to come and see grain, right, with fruits and everything, but they were taken by surprise that what they were expecting to see wasn't what they saw. So they said, we are astray. This is not our garden. And then they said, no, hold on. بَلْ نَحْنُ مَحْرُومُونَ. Rather, we are deprived from our garden because of our evil intention. So they realized that it is because of their evil intention, the sin that they committed, that is the reason why Allah the Almighty has taken away what He has given them. So based on this, our scholars said that sin is a cause of deprivation of provision. And our noble scholar Ibn Qayyim, he mentioned this in his book Al-Jawab al-Kafi when talking about the effects of sins. So from one of the effects of sins is that deprivation of provision. Because He, the peace be upon Him, said, إِيَّاكُمْ وَالْمَعَاصِي. Stay away from sin. فَإِنَّ الْعَبِدَ لَيُذْنِبُ الذَّنْبَ فَيُحْرَمُ بِهِ رِزْقًا كَانَ هِيَ لَهُ. He says sometimes a servant will commit a sin, and due to the sin that he has committed, he will be deprived from a provision which he deserved. But because of the sin that he has committed, Allah Almighty will snatch it away from him. And all of you know the story of our father Adam alayhi salatu wassalam. Because of one sin, which is the bite of an apple, he was kicked out of Jannah. That's what scholars say. In the case that do not belittle sin. Now,
is there any narration saying it was a bite of an apple?
I said a bite of an apple because we used to say what? Apple. Actually, the word apple comes from the Israeliyat, meaning from the people of the book. Okay? And Quran did not specify, right? Is it okay for us to take stories of the people of the book as long as it did not contradict with the Quran? We take it. If it contradicts with the Quran, we reject it. But if it is neutral, meaning it did not contradict or reject, our scholars said we can also remain neutral, meaning we will not say that it is false, and we cannot say it is what? Right. Because when you say it is not true, you may be rejecting something that is true. And when you say it is true, you may be affirming something that is not true. But is it okay to narrate from them? There is nothing wrong with that. Now,
the people of the book, like the Jews, they say where Allah mentions Fir'aun in the Quran is actually two different pharaohs. The first one was the father, which was going to have him executed, and later on in his life, it was his brother, who was the original son of the first Fir'aun, who was rejecting the truth from him. So does that contradict?
There is no contradiction in this.
So it's okay to
Because it's okay to tell. Because the reason is because the word Pharaoh is a title given to whoever rules Egypt. That's why they have Ramses. And if you go to Egypt, they have Ramses, and they have few Ramses. Okay? So the word Pharaoh again is a title given to whoever ruled Egypt. Like they have Alexandra, right? For whoever ruled them. So it's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. Inshallah. Jazakumullah khairan. But there are many narrations that clearly contradict with the Quran. Like their statement, it is Harun, and according to the Bible, Harun is the one who led the children of Israel astray when Musa went to meet with his Lord. But according to the Quran, it is not Harun. It is who? As-Samiri, right? As Quran mentioned clearly. فَأَضَلَّهُمُ هُمُ السَّامِرِينَ. But Harun, he was trying to bring them back to the path. He admonished them, but he couldn't impose any force on them because he's afraid that Musa will come back and see that the children of Israel are divided, and he will lay the blame on Harun. That's why Harun said, إِنِّي خَشِيتُ أَن تَقُولَ فَرَّقْتُ بَيْنَ بَنِي إِسْرَائِيلَ وَلَمْ تَرْقُبَ قَوْلِي. I'm afraid that you will say that I, Musa, have divided between the children of Israel, right? So, there are narrations like that contradicts, but there are other narrations that agrees with the teachers of the Quran. And also, they have a story about David, which is Dawood, which we don't believe, even though some of the scholars of Tafsir have mentioned this about the story of the 99 sheep and the one sheep. They have that story about Dawood. He saw a woman and he liked her, and then he sent her husband out to fight, and then he got killed to the end. But we Muslims, we don't believe in that story. Because we don't attribute these things to the prophets. Like they mentioned that Nuh alayhi salatu wasalam was drunk and he did not know what he was doing. All this we don't attribute it to the prophets, because the Prophet of Allah the Almighty, who is carrying the message of Allah the Almighty, cannot be drunk to the point that he does not know what is going. If you are drunk, you cannot rule. If you're drunk, you cannot rule a house, like a family. You cannot even run a family. How about a message that comes from Allah the Almighty? So we don't believe in narrations like this in the Bible. But again, like I said, the Messiah has mentioned that there have been many distortions in the book. But there are some that are true. Because remember, during the time of the Prophet ﷺ, when they were asking about the ruling of adultery, the Prophet said, bring your book. So he judged them with what is in the book, which is the Torah that they have then. So there are some facts in the Torah, but there are many changes in it. May Allah Almighty grant us understanding of the deen. Amen. So again, these people of Garden, at the end, they realized that they were wrong, and that they have been deprived their garden due to their sins. So they turned back to Allah the Almighty and they repented to Allah. They said, Subhana Rabbina inna kunna zalimeen. They said, glory be to our Lord. Indeed, we are those who wrong ourselves. When they said glory be to Allah, it is like you are freeing Allah the Almighty from any imperfection. So you are not saying this happened because Allah has wronged us. No, Allah is free from that. We are those who put ourselves into this. وَمَا أَصَابَكُم مِّن مُّصِيبَةٍ فَبِمَا كَسَبَتْ أَيْدِيكُم. Whatever calamity or tribulation that befalls on you is because of what your own hands have put forward. وَيَعْفُو عَنْ كَثِيرٍ. And He, Allah the Almighty, forgives a lot. So again,
He does what a lot?
He forgives. Now, وَيَعْفُو عَنْ كَثِيرٍ. He forgives a lot. He overlooks a lot. Now, So we ask Allah Almighty to forgive us. I mean, the word forgiveness, like our little scholar Ibn Taymiyyah said, is when Allah Almighty conceal your sin and overlook it. Because sometimes your sins may be concealed, but it may not be overlooked. Right? It may not be overlooked. Then you're going to be in trouble. But if it is concealed, it is overlooked, then you have the perfect forgiveness. And this is what we are asking Allah the Almighty for. Concealment is a ni'mah, and overlooking it is another ni'mah. Now,
So if an individual causes harm to us in an oppressive manner and they ask for forgiveness, is it upon us to emulate the same way to, like try to forgive them and leave it in the past? Or can we say, we forgive but we don't forget and stuff like that?
we should forgive and we should forget. You understand? And overlook. If you did not forget, you are harming your heart. Sometimes by nature, some harm or some oppression that someone will do to you, it's going to be very difficult to get out of your mind. You understand? But still try to overlook if you can. Except if it is beyond your capability, your control. Like it happened with the Prophet ﷺ and Bilal al-Wahshi, the one who killed Hamza. You understand? Whenever the Prophet sees him, the Prophet remembers what happens. That is why when he came to the Prophet saying, I come to you seeking refuge so that I can listen to the word of Allah. The Prophet said, I would rather see you in someone else's what? Refuge. You understand why? Because of what he did. But as long as you came to me seeking refuge, I will grant you refuge so that you will listen to the words of Allah the Almighty. And this is when he became Muslim, So yes, it's the best thing is to forgive and to forget. Just overlook so that you will have peace right here in your heart. Because if you did not forgive somebody, you're the one who will be suffering. You see him, you get angry. I'm serious. Some people when they see somebody, their day, it just ruined their day. But try to overlook stuff. Forgive, smile, let it go, and remember that you also commit sin. Wallah, if you always think like this, we will live a happy life. Because if Allah Almighty is going to seize you for the sins that you commit, like what do we do to Allah? Do you give Allah money? No. What do you do to Him? Nothing. And He gives you everything, you still sin against Him. Sometimes some people, they get angry because their wife are being disobedient to them, right? They be like, man, I support you. I provide you with roof, everything. But Allah gave you everything, and you still sin against Allah. And you are not expecting the creature to disobey you. Do you follow me? So if you understand like this, yes, it happened. It is not for them to disobey you. They're supposed to be grateful. But if they are being ungrateful, that is their sin. You have to play your part of being forgiven. Praying to Allah the Almighty to guide them and to guide you and to help you to do what is right. But do not say, oh, why this, why that? No, don't say that. We ask Allah the Almighty to guide us all and to grant us understanding of the Deen. Amen. I think we will stop here. If you have any question or any comment, we'll take it to the best of our ability, inshallah.
I'm trying to think as if, I don't know if it was from the Sunnah or if it was a quote from the sky. It was something that's basically like, you shouldn't mention the evil that people did to you. Like how you were saying, forgive and forget.
No.
Like, you should kind of like work to the point of forgiving that you won't even bring it up anymore.
If you do that, that is the best. But sometimes, some people can.
Yeah.
You understand? And if you are wrong, it's okay to mention that you are wrong. Alright? Allah Almighty doesn't want us to expose, something that is evil. Except for the one who is wrong and oppressed. Allah Almighty has given that individual the go ahead, the permission of saying Fulan has wronged me. You understand? Because you have the right. He oppressed you. It's okay, but if you choose to overlook, that is also a good thing. Now, that's the best thing actually. Like once I said, "Faman afa wa sabara," right? "Faman ghafara wa sabara inna dhalika min azmin umur." وَجَزَاءُ سَيِّئَةٍ سَيِّئَةٌ مِثْلُهَا. We have the right to retaliate. The recompense of evil is the evil likewise, right? But the Most High said afterwards, فَمَنْ عَفَى وَأَصْلَحَ فَأَجْرُهُ إِلَى اللَّهِ. But the one who forgives in order to reconcile, then his reward will be with Allah. Because when reconciliation, someone has to give up his right in order for reconciliation to happen. But if this one said no, and that one said no, there will be no reconciliation. That's why the Messiah said, the one who pardons and then reconcile, his reward will be with Allah the Almighty. And I would rather receive my reward from Allah than to get it from the people. Because if you choose to give up your right for the sake of peace and reconciliation, then Allah the Almighty will reward you in this dunya and in the hereafter. Now, all that you need is just to go through that patience and to suppress your ego, at that moment. Now,
so somebody crashed my car and he totaled it, and the only thing he could say was he apologizes. Now I ignore it and I forgive him and I forget him. So I'm working towards getting another car. Now I have this other car. I'm not paying him any mind anymore. I forgave him and I overlooked it. And he comes in asking he borrowed my car. If I get mad, does that mean I didn't?
No. You have that right. You have to understand it is not upon you to be kind to somebody who does not deserve it. You understand? That's why Ibn Taymiyyah said kindness is not an absolute trait of perfection. It's relative. You do kindness to someone who deserves it. You understand? So if somebody doesn't deserve it, you don't give it to him. Even forgiveness sometimes. It's that you forgive someone who deserves to be forgiven. Someone who feels remorse for what they have done. Someone, but somebody else, if you forgive, hoping that because of your forgiveness they will change. You understand? Then you forgive. But someone that the more you forgive, the more he harms, right? The more you forgive, the more he becomes more arrogant. No, you don't. You get your right back. I hope this is clear. Because even with Allah the Almighty, if you did not humble yourself and ask for forgiveness, He will not forgive. No. So if somebody crashed your car and he was being negligent and he did not do anything to show any remorse, you understand? He come back to you again, you have every right to say no. Because he crashed it, he has to pay for it. Islamically, the Prophet said, "Man atlafa shay, fa'alayhi tabur." Whoever destroyed someone's property, he is responsible to pay it back. So if somebody destroyed your property, he has to pay you back. If he did not, you can ask for your right. You can go to the court. If we live in Islamic, country, this is just rights. Sometimes something that you have to understand, you have the right to get your right if you need it. But if you forgive, it's the best thing to do. I hope this is clear. And if I crash your car, the best thing to do is to give you your right. If I know I have the ability to pay. If I cannot pay, at the least give you something to express my care and my concern and my remorse for what I have done wrong. But I crash your car and I forget you. No, it doesn't work like that. So we ask Allah the Almighty to grant us understanding of the deen. Ameen. Alright. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد ان لا اله الا انت نستغفرك ونتوب اليك.